The most difficult place for you to be in life is in God's waiting room. Some of you are in God's waiting room right now. What is God's waiting room? When you're in a hurry for something to happen and God isn't, that's God's waiting room. Some of you are in a hurry to graduate. Some of you are in a hurry to get married. Some of you are in a hurry to start a family. Some of you are in a hurry to launch a new business, to close a big deal. Some of you are in a hurry for a big goal, a big dream, a big accomplishment. Some of you are in a hurry for all kinds of different things, and God isn't. We, as human beings, hate to wait, and we especially struggle with waiting on God. Have you ever been in a hurry when God wasn't? You're like, God, I know you're going to come through, and I'm praying this really godly prayer. I know it's your will, so where are you? Why aren't you coming through? And you're in the waiting room of life, and we get so impatient. We want to hurry God up, and we want things right now. Some of you have been waiting for God to come through, and you're about to give up. You're getting discouraged, and you realize that God's standard time is not always running on my time. And it's in the waiting rooms of life that we learn to trust God the most. In those difficult waiting rooms of life, that's where God grows us and builds our character the most. Through the pain of waiting, we learn to trust God, and without faith, it's impossible to please God. That's when He builds our character. See, while you're working on your project, your goal, your dream, your vision, God's working on you. And God's much more interested in you than in what you're trying to accomplish. Because you're not taking your accomplishments to heaven, but you are taking your character. Sometimes God says, yeah, I intend to give you what I've promised you. I intend to answer that prayer. I intend to fulfill the vision, but you're not ready yet. I want you to grow, and when you're ready, then it's going to happen. A lot of times we think we're waiting on God for something to happen, like a prayer to be answered. God says, you're not waiting on me. I'm waiting on you. I'm trying to prepare you. I'm testing your faith. Will you trust me? But I'm also trying to grow you up, because the blessing I want to give you is so much bigger than you can handle right now. You're not ready for it. You can't handle it yet. Another thing you have to learn in life is that a delay is not a denial. There's a big difference between no and not yet. Now, immature children don't know the difference. You tell a kid not yet, and they start crying and having a hissy fit because they think it means no. They don't understand that a delay is not a denial. God is saying, I intend to do these things in your life that I've given you the vision, the dream to do, but you're just not ready yet, and at the right time, I will answer your prayer. God's often waiting on us. Now, why is this important? Because when you're in God's waiting room, you fall into temptation to all kinds of negative emotions. You start worrying, you start stressing. Out you get anxious, you get irritable, you get spiritually agitated, and you can get envious. You can get jealous. Hey, he got a promotion. I didn't get the promotion. She's having a baby. Well, I'm not having a baby. She got engaged. I didn't, get engaged. He's starting a new business. It's taking off. What about mine? All these kinds of negative emotions can come into your life. And then you get frustrated. You start having a pity party. So what does God want you to do when you're in the waiting room of life? Because you're going to go through it many, many times. God is not a vending machine where you put in the prayer and then you pull the thing, and you instantly get it. There's always a delay. The delays are by design. The delays are by design to teach you to trust Him and to grow up in your character. A delay is not a denial. There's a big difference between no and not yet. For those of you who are parents, you understand this. There's a big difference between telling your kids no and not yet. It's just not time yet. A delay is not a denial. We see it all through scriptures. God told Noah to build a boat that would save his family from a great flood, but it didn't. Rain for 120 years. God told Abraham he'd be the father of a great nation, but he didn't have his first child until he was 99 years old. God told Moses that he would lead the people out of slavery from Egypt, which they had been in for over 450 years. But then God sends Moses out into the desert for 40 years to wait. God gives Joseph this great dream that he'll save his family and his people from famine and be a great leader. But then Joseph gets sold into slavery. He gets falsely accused and he's imprisoned. He's waiting there in prison until finally God takes him from prison and positions him second in command in all of Egypt. And the promise comes true. King David, God had King David anointed as king, but he didn't really get to be king until years later. Even Jesus Christ spent his first 30 years waiting in a carpentry shop before he started his earthly ministry. See, a delay is not a denial. When God delays, sometimes we feel forgotten. Psalm 13:1 says, "How long, O Lord, will you forget me forever?" You come to a point sometimes of believing that God has forgotten you. Don't worry, it's a common experience. We all go through it one time or another, feeling that God isn't there, or at the very least, he's forgotten us. Perhaps our problems aren't important to him. We imagine the psalmist encounters those very doubts in Psalm chapter 10 and verse 1. Here's what he says there. "Why do you stand afar off, O Lord? Why do you hide in times of trouble?" What you believe is that he has given up on you. You may even be feeling that way right now. If so, please allow me to remind you that what you're contemplating is a simple impossibility. God never gives up on you. He never ceases to care about you, and he will not abandon his work on you, of which your trial is a part. He even says that your name is written on the palms of his hands. Your very name is tattooed on the palms of God's hands. It is engraved there. It cannot be removed. And such is God's concern for you. I cannot forget you. No matter what storm you're weathering, now you have never left God's mind or his heart. Yes, sometimes when God delays, we feel forgotten. But God never delays without a purpose. He knows you. He knows your heart. He knows everything you're asking him for. If he's not doing what you think he should do, just be patient, because God loves you. Don't forget, he's got your name tattooed on his palm. He knows who you are. He hasn't forgotten, and he never will. Often, God's timing disappoints us. You know there's maybe something you've been praying about for a long time, and you really need an answer. Maybe you've been praying for something really specific, and you needed God to show up within a particular time frame. You know it's an urgent need, and he doesn't. When God doesn't answer when you need him to, I wonder what conclusions you come to. Do you think to yourself, did I do something wrong? Did I ask the wrong way? Do you find yourself asking, does God even hear my prayers? So often we think when God doesn't answer in our way or in our time that it's because he doesn't love us. God loves you. He doesn't love anybody else one grain of sand more than he loves you. In those darkest moments of life, I want you to hear Jesus looking right through your fear and saying to you, trust me, I am right here. God's timing might not have been everything you hoped for in your life, but I hope you understand that you can trust the one who keeps the time clock.